Hey, what's up? It's Rashad. Antonio. It's been a minute, man, but the MCU Collective, we are
Yeah.
back. And we got the second in what Marvel is calling um, a trilogy of TV between WandaVision, Agatha All Along, and
Mhm.
whatever they're going to name the Vision show. They're looking at it as a
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah, as a
Okay.
trilogy. So,
Okay.
which is cool because now we can know that we're gonna actually have, Vision story and
hmm
whatever they call the Vision Quest. I don't care. Either way,
hmm
talking about Agatha All Along, episodes 1 and 2. The name of those episodes are "Seekest Thou the Road," "Circle
hmm
Some with Fate" slash "Unlock Thy
Unlock
Hidden
the
Gate,"
gate.
which is a rhyme. I shouldn't have said the slash. I apologize. All
hmm
spoilers. Got to talk about a thing to talk about a thing, and I just really want to know, like, how you felt about the first two episodes.
Um, the first two episodes for me, I dug it for the most part. At first, full disclosure, I was, what I'm saying, when we went into the first episode, I was expecting the intro. I wanted to hear our bop. It was Agatha All Along. And I didn't hear that. And I was about to be like, what the hell is going on? What the hell is going on here, Disney? What are you doing? And then I realized what they've done. And with these first two episodes, for me, it basically was, in all intents and purposes, a continuation of WandaVision, how how it was. And I mean, especially with the first episode, I was like, oh man, she'd have lost her. I said she has to still be hexed by Wanda. I said because she was the last we saw Agatha, you know, Wanda, saying became the Scarlet Witch, and she, put the little spell on Agatha to have her basically trip out because that's what Agatha helped her do and kept her in her state of being in a TV show.
Yeah.
But then I was like, why is this giving me like CSI vibes? I said,
Yeah,
why is
yeah,
this
yeah,
show
yeah,
giving me?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then I'm looking and I said, the black guy. I said, this the dude that was mowing, that was like trimming his hedges, but he ain't got the fro. I said, it got to be him. And then
Mm-hmm.
it moved along, and then I saw the guy. I think he was a police officer in the in WandaVision with the mustache, with the
Yeah.
stash, and he was the chief of police. And I was like, what is going on? I said, well, are all of them still in the hex? So they just moving along? And I said, well, maybe she's not in it. She's out of her hex now because Wanda died and like she kind of snapped out of it and was like, oh snap, dang, I don't have my powers. I'll just regulate myself to being a normal person.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought this was, but my was I wrong, and I got almost kind of everything that I wanted. What about you, sir?
This is basically the best of WandaVision with the promise of something different.
Okay.
And that's how I really felt about it. I mean, okay, so just as a quick aside, I watched like episodes like 4 through 7 of WandaVision
Okay.
just to kind of get back into the world because this is gonna, this is like basically a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
So I forgot just how good WandaVision was.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, like, when the show came out, quick story. If you didn't watch WandaVision in real time during the pandemic with us, then you missed out.
Mm-hmm.
This was such an event,
Mm-hmm.
basically being the first MCU property to drop because this was the only one that was ready. This was supposed to be like the third series to drop. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? And every week it was something different. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though like I don't like old TV, the first 3 episodes are really compelling and very
Mm-hmm.
true to the nature of what the show is trying to do. And I really respect that.
Mm-hmm.
But the episodes 4 through 7, when they actually figure out what's going on with the Hex and Wanda and all that good stuff, like it really made me upset all over again of how she was portrayed in Multiverse of Madness
Okay.
because they essentially had her doing the same thing over again. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, dog, like, why y'all gonna have her as the antagonist again? when the whole point of her on WandaVision was her trying to have some sort of like conciliatory nature about how she was living. That's why she went away by herself in seclusion and was learning, even though she learned in Darko trying to find her kids. You know what I'm saying? Like that, yeah, it just didn't mesh well. But anyway, this show, I really like the crime procedural, how they started off. Even the whole thing was like, hey, this is like a crime procedural. Even it was like from the Danish show WandaVision, like it was real because they be taking shows from everywhere and it just making them for American audience. So like it was really good, and even how they were hitting towards Wanda the entire first episode with the person that died and all that good stuff. And I liked it. Like I think I had really like metered expectations towards the show because I didn't watch none of the extra, you know what I'm saying, trailers or 30-second spots, none of that stuff. So I was like, let me be as blind as possible. And it was good. Shout out to Shazia Zamata, who stayed getting that work. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she's
after being done dirty by SNL.
Yeah, she definitely was done dirty by SNL, but she's been a consummate working actress ever since. So shout out to you. But yeah, love the show. Also, I love how the second episode, how they low key gave us like a That 70s Show reference. Everybody's in a circle talking, going back and forth. I was like, yo, man, like they did a good job, yo. I can't even lie.
Okay. So let's get into it. So the first episode, like I said, it starts off with, you see Agatha, or referred to as Agnes at this point. She's driving in her car, and it's like a close-up of her, but she's driving. She comes up on a crime scene, and then by this time they pull out a little bit on the shot, and you see she has a badge on, and she gets out the car, and she's a police officer, a detective mainly. And she walks up, and that's when you see my guy, that's saying that was her neighbor, and on WandaVision, and he's like, hey, what are you doing here? And she was like, yeah, the chief sent me here. And he's like, man, ain't you on suspension or something like that? And she's like, yeah, there was only one person that they said that they could handle this case. And I was like, when that was going on and stuff, I said, man, this sounds so CSI-ish, or
yeah, it was definitely a real like a crime procedural. Like it's the oh my god, I forgot the name of that show. I found it. Go ahead.
I was waiting for Ice-T to pop out. Yo, what's going on? And so, apparently there is a Jane Doe, a dead body that they found that's off the in the path of this road or whatever. They said they found out about it because someone called and said this is where they are. And she asked the questions like, hey, how did it die? Well, like it's been crushed. And then I was like, damn, crushed. That's a horrible way to go. And then she was like, and it was like, then she says, are you sure it's dead? It's like, oh, he says, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure. And then they come up on the body. You don't see the face of the body. You just see the body is face down. And she's examining the body, and she notices that the fingertips are black on the body, and she acts kind of weird towards it, but it's like, oh, okay, whatever. And then she looks around, and she's looking around the scene, and what do we see? We see Agatha's locket that she had from WandaVision, but she kind of takes it and she removes evidence from a crime scene, and then looking, and she's like, all right, let's go ahead and turn Jane Doe over. And they turn over, you still don't see the face, and she's looking, and she's like, and she goes up to it, it's like, it's you, what happened to you, type thing or whatever. And we can pretty much guess who that body is. It's Wanda. And
definitely referencing Wanda. And the name of the show was Mayor of Easttown with Kate Winslet. That's what they're basically they're mocking. You know what I'm saying?
And so, and then it makes sense because how did Wanda die? She got crushed, and saying, so we think she did. in Multiverse of Madness on Mount Wunderwall, when they collapsed the temple for for the dark hole. So she's like, going around and she's trying to get evidence. They found like a library card, which was wild because, like I said, we use and not a library card, but not an actual library card that to show to get book, but the library cards they keep inside the folder of the book to show like who checked out that book and everything like that. She goes into the library and she's using and she has kind of like the New York cop accent almost a little bit that you hear in these shows and stuff.
Yeah.
And she's like trying to get the information and she's talking to the librarian. Librarian's like, hey man, we don't use no library like little cards like that no more. Everything is electronic. And then, she calls the scene. She's like, fine, I can tell. She said, look, and about this book hasn't been checked out in what, like almost 20 years or something like 20 years or something like that. She's like, oh, and there's like, hey man, they got a bunch of copies going in the back. And she goes in the back to look, but it's like that bookshelf that the book came on was like all burnt up. And then like she freaks out because some guy is like, they burnt them all. And she's like, what the hell? And like, yeah, apparently somebody burnt that bookshelf. She goes back to the police station, the police precinct. The chief is like, hey, we bring in some FBI help. And she's like, oh my gosh, she recognized the FBI person. It's like, and the FBI person is kind of needling her and questioning her a whole lot. And so Agnes goes home, she goes home and she's just trying to figure out this case, and the door knocks and it's the FBI agent that comes and she's talking to her and she's like, hey, even before that, she goes to the like a pawn, was like a some type of not pawn shop, but some type of like jeweler or something like that recognized jewelry, and she showed the guy like, hey, this locket here, what can you tell me about it? He's like, oh, this is like 1800s, type locket, blah 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 blah, type stuff like that. Go over, Sean.
Yeah, he was basically saying like, yeah, this is pretty old. Like basically trying to place it back to like, is it northeast?
Yeah,
about a ward. I forgot whatever it's made out of, like a shell or something.
Salem witch trials.
Yeah, of course he was referencing that. But yeah, so and that was the dude that was working with Vision at the office.
Right. Yeah.
So again, getting all these people that was in WandaVision originally just coming back, and there was a piece of hair, some hair in that locket as well. So of course, that's gonna come back later on.
Right.
And yeah, so it was just funny how like she's meeting everybody in her reality, and it's still kind of helping her, and she's being like very snarky and like a real grizzled, what I'm saying, veteran cop. I'm a detective, and it's just like shout out to her for playing this role. I'm saying, like, she really could have been in like a legit, like it was like really legit crime job stuff. Like it was, they did a really good job of just portraying that that genre. And even going back with the FBI chick, which is of course name is Rio Vidal, played by what's that girl's name? Oh man, I have the biggest brain freeze right now.
Don't worry, I am too, because she plays weird parts and stuff. Ria Vidal, where are you at, Ria? Played by Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah, Aubrey Plaza. Aubrey Plaza of Legion fame. You know what I'm saying? If y'all never seen Legion on FX, it's on Disney Plus. Go back and watch that.
Yeah,
amazing show.
It is amazing, but also a mind effort.
Yes.
A mind effort of a show.
You gotta be paying attention. Shout out to Noah Hawley, Fargo. Did that joint. But yeah, so Aubrey Plaza is playing Rio Vidal, and you can tell at this point, like, oh, okay, I see what y'all doing. She's trying to get her off the spell. You know what I'm saying? And she's thinking she's talking about the case. And she's like, oh, that's what you think this is? Because like everything that that Rio is doing is very matter of factish. You know what I'm saying?
Remember what she said? She said, oh, this is what you chose? She's like, this is
Yeah.
the life, this is the life you chose. All right,
Mm-hmm.
all right, bet, cool or whatever. And go and it's like they meet up. It's like she meets Wanda at her house. Now I said Wanda, excuse me, Agnes at her house, and she's talking to her. And like I said, she's just saying things to kind of like seem like jog her memory or whatnot.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, Agnes does what? She's like, yo, you hear that? And she goes upstairs, and there's somebody that had broken her house, and they snatched up that locket that she had.
Mm-hmm.
And like Agnes is like chasing her, not chasing the person, and it's like, where you at? Blah, 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 blah. Stop, 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 stop. Chase them out the window, falls out the window. They're going down, saying over people's yard, down the alley. He gets hit by a car by, a lady's like, oh my God, by Miss Hart
This is
from,
Deborah Joe Rupp.
yeah, from Miss Hart from WandaVision. She's like, oh my God, it is. She's like, yo, stay in the car. Why are you trying to take this? So they take the guy downtown and interrogating, and he's talking to Agatha, and he's just saying weird stuff, and she's like, well, what are you doing? And whatever. And Agatha's thinking there is a what is the
Like to
double
see through the
the
double
police
window.
the
Yeah,
police
yeah,
double
yeah.
window or whatever. And then the guy, starts doing like an incantation, like an
Yeah.
incantation. And she's like, what are you doing? What are you saying? Stop. Stop. What are you doing? And then he's like, why do you keep looking at that painting on the wall? She was like, what painting? That's a, whoa. Okay. Whatever. And so,
He said, man, we're gonna put you in the tank.
yeah, she's like, yeah, we're going to put you in the tank. So locks the dude up. It makes it seem like she goes back home. Or so we think. And she's home. And then there goes Ria Vidal again. She's talking to her. And she's like, look here. Your case. She's gone. You don't have to be in this anymore. She's dead. You don't. And then Agnes is like, what are you talking? Oh, it's getting kind of hot in here. She's like, yeah, that's right. Come on out. And you just see Agnes start stripping clothes off. And it's every version of Agatha that was in WandaVision that
Yeah.
comes up. The like Roseanne Barr version of her, the 70s version of, even the black and white version
Yeah.
of her. And finally she comes to, and it's like, yo, what the hell is that? And she walks outside bucket naked.
Fucking
Naked.
naked.
And you see black guy that's her neighbor, and he's like, hey, Miss Agnes, yo, what what are you doing? This and that. She's like, how long have I been here? And he's like, what? How long have I been in this godforsaken like? And he's like, yo, you've been here like for 3 years.
Yeah.
And she's like, wait a minute. What do you? She's like, Wanda. She's like, Scarlet Witch. He's like, yo, shh. He was like, yo. We don't speak that name around here. You need to chill. And he's like, oh, shut up, you cowards. He's like, you trying to tell me y'all been here? She kept me here for 3 years. Y'all just been. He was like, I mean, yo, we thought you was going to like what he said? He said like a crime film, a crime, you know what I'm saying? A crime film, like,
You going
show
through,
like
so little,
phase.
little true crime phase. You know what I'm
Phase,
saying?
he said, yeah, he said, we will bring you food and, kind of take care of you and stuff. And then she looks around and she sees the rest of the neighborhood and was like, yeah, the police chief. Oh, there goes the library. There goes the jewelry shop. What the heck? And she's like pissed off that she has been stuck in this state, not knowing what's going on for 3 years. It kind of reminds me of when when Bruce Banner was on Sakaar for 3 years. Remember, he was on Sakaar for 3 years,
Yeah,
stuck as the Hulk.
yeah.
And he
Then he
was
came
like,
to, yeah.
where the hell am I at? How long I got 3 years or whatever? So she,
Yo, the
yeah,
funny part of that scene right there, right? Like, she's butt naked. talking, his name is John, talking to John,
John.
right?
Yeah.
And John's like, yo, where are your clothes? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yo, they said, here's the script, John. I want you to talk how you would normally react to the situation.
Mm-hmm.
John was black as hell. Like,
He was like,
it was so funny.
he took his coat off and was trying to put it on her, and she was, get off me.
He
Get
was
off
like,
you. Mm-hmm.
okay. And then
Mm-hmm.
across the street, you know what I'm saying?
Man was like,
It's Harold. Harold
uh-huh.
was like, he's a girl. He said, honey, what are you doing? He said, oh, yeah, come. You know what I'm saying? So like he was
Yeah,
trying to get a little peek, you know
little
what I'm
piggy.
saying? And then she walked away and we just saw like Catherine Hahn's white ass. I was like very surprised that Disney did that. You
Yeah.
know?
Apparently, I saw this article where it was like Feige was surprised. He didn't even know that was going to tell. He's like, "Oh snap!" Like, well, okay, I see what y'all doing.
Yeah,
What I
yeah,
also
yeah.
love about her transformation back into Agatha was you hear a version, a different version of Agatha All Along theme playing when she's starting to, what I'm saying, to transform back into Agatha. So she gets back inside her house. And she's like trying to make her purple magic come up, and she's like, damn, I ain't got it. And she hears like a knocking in the closet. She locked the daggone boy up that tried to steal, not a holding cell, but in her closet. He gagged,
Mm-hmm.
and then Rio comes around and was like, hey, good to see you here. And they start rumbling. Because Rio apparently can't stand her, and she calls Agatha a witch killer.
Yeah,
Like
because she killed a
we
coven.
saw, yeah, she killed her coven, and basically, it's basically a fight of the irresistible force versus the immovable object because they can't kill each other. They can't kill each other.
We can't. Yeah, yeah.
she, she's like, look, you can't kill me. She's like, I can't kill you. You can't kill me. She's like, yeah, but I can make it. And she's like, look here, girl, look. You can do all that you want, but I ain't got my powers. So Agatha plays mind games with her. Look, I ain't got my powers, baby. And you want to beat me at my best. She pulled a Goku on her. Because that's what she did. Goku for Dragon Ball always like,
Very
oh, go
strong.
ahead, power up to your highest level. I want to fight you. She's like, yo, come on, cuz, what are you doing? And so she's like, how you gonna do that? Girl, I'm gonna go find the witch. No, she was like, girl, you know how I'm gonna get my powers back or whatever. She's like, you know what? Cool, yeah. I know where you are. I'm gonna let you power up and get your power. She says, but other people looking for you too. And she was like, I'm gonna tell them where you are. They'll be here like later on tonight. Bye. And she was like, who you gonna tell? Who looking? She's like, who looking for me? She was like, the seven. And she was like, oh. She was like, the seven looking for her.
He was like, yeah, they
And if
probably
I'm not
are.
mistaken, that I believe that's the seven witches that
That's the Salem
from
Seven.
the
Yeah.
Salem Seven from her coven that she killed. And she's like, oh yeah. And then she was like, all right, bye, see you later. And she leaves her. And she's trying to get herself together and go. And then that's when she unlooses. I think we're going to the second episode by this point, right?
Yeah, basically. So she
Yeah.
she unties and takes the thing off his face.
Uh-huh.
Basically, yo. And this is kind of where like I realized that her whole life was a lie. She was like, let me jump into the car so we can go. She goes to her desk.
It said, this ain't a car.
It had a gas pedal, a brake pedal. It had she made a daggone wheel and put her seat there. And it was like she made a car like she was like 7 years old in the house by herself. That was such a smart thing. Because when you realize it, even when you go back to when she was talking to John outside, because even when she was talking to John at the beginning of the episode, you can tell like he was a barrier of the yellow tables between them. And she was like, then he was like, hey man, you haven't really been acting like yourself. And she was like, what is even myself then?
Yeah,
you know
what is myself?
Yeah. And he was like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? So even then, she was doing that thing outside in public with these people, and they just was playing along because, oh my God, Tony, you know what this is?
What's this?
this is the person who has the mental health issues, but since they are part of a community, they take care of the person in their community. That's
Yeah.
that's really what it was.
You know what that reminds me of? I'm gonna take it all the way back to Rashad and we kids. I know you've probably seen this movie. Remember the movie The Boy Who Could Fly
I
with Jay?
do remember the movie, but I never saw it.
Okay. Yeah, so it's like the young man had autism and he thought he could fly. Kind of find out at the end of the movie he could fly, but they was like taking care of him because the neighborhood because his uncle was alcoholic type
Oh,
stuff like that.
oh, okay, okay,
Stuff
okay.
like that. So so the guy is he's like he finally it's like, hey, I can help you find the what is it, the witch's road. She looked and said, there's no such thing. He was like, man, all y'all witches say that just to, real witches say that just to stop other people like me not going. He's like, look, and she was like, he says, look, the witch's road will give you what you want. You want your powers back? Cool. I want to go with you. And she's like, well, what the hell you want to go? He says, hey, I got my own reasons why. And he was like, look here, I know who you are, Agatha. He was basically like, I worship you. I know everything about you. I came here for you. And then he hit her with the, if it weren't for me, you would still kind of be in your little. And then she was like, okay. And then she says, wait a minute. If you got enough power to break the Scarlet Witch's little hex, what the hell you need the Witch's Road for? He was like, I don't have the absolute power that I want, type thing. And she's like, all right, fine. And she's like, yeah, you're gonna drive me around. They they're driving around and they realize, she says to get to the Witch's Road, we have to have a coven. And
Mm-hmm.
of witches. They don't have to be the most powerful witches. They got to have just some type of power. And they driving, and she sees like a clairvoyance, like a little psychic, Miss Linda's psychic or something, whatever, like there. And it was like, all right. She said, "Stop the car. This is the spot right here." He's like, "Really here?" He was like, "Yeah, trust me, stay going there." And the lady in there, shout out to Miss Lapone
Yeah, Patty
of
LuPone,
Miss Patty Lapone playing the role of the psychic, and she's
Lilia
talking to
Cal- Lilia Calderon.
Lydia Calderon, and she's like, "Hey, I can do you." Saying how you gonna pay, and she was like, "Hey, we do this," and they talk to her, and she like reads she reads like her little psychic thing, and then she was like, and then that's when Agatha was like, "Yeah, all right, cool, let's get out of here. This chick ain't really." And then she was like, "I know what you're looking for, and I'm not, and nobody wants to be in a covenant with you, Agatha Harkness." And she says, bingo. Hey, come on, baby. This is that. She was like, nah. She was like, we know what you're doing. She was like, why aren't you? She says, I'm surprised you ain't trying to take my powers right there because that's what, hello? Oh, I thought you went away on my screen. He was
Nah,
like,
nah.
I know what you're trying to do. And she was like, no, look here, girl, like you're failed at this. This is what you're doing here. Help you. And then she starts talking to herself and start doing wild stuff. It's like some type of hex has been put on her as well. And she's like, all right, fine. And she's like, look here, these people you need to find. And then she was like, oh, great, your name's up here. She said, my name ain't on that list. And she looked and was like, damn, my name is on this list to be a coven. And so, and then she looks at the guy, and was like, who the hell is he basically? She was like, oh, he's my pet. It's like,
Yes.
she called the boy.
Call that boy a pet.
She said, oh yeah, he's my pet. He's like my little valet, a pet. And so they tell her, hey, meet at the house at this time. Cool. And they look at the next name on the list. And the thing is, Agatha knows every last name on this list. Like, these are people that she has had interactions with before. And she sees the next name on the list, and it is Jennifer Kale. And that's our girl, Shahir Zabata. And she has like an incense candle shop. And she's in there with some customers, and she's like, oh man, this smells wonderful. Then she's like, yeah, I know it does. They said, hey, go ahead and taste it too. I was like, did she just tell them to taste Rashad, I said, did she just tell them to taste the damn candle? And she was like, yes,
Yeah.
okay, say. And they did. And they were like, oh man, this is great. She's like, yeah, you gotta burn it. You said, as the burn it, then you can. And it was like, all right, good. And then Agatha comes in there. It's like, hey guys, what's going on? Blah 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 blah. This and that, and like you see, Jennifer is looking at Agatha like, white woman, get out of my store. I do not like you. Like, and so they're talking, and apparently Jennifer has had like her powers somewhat, nullified, and
Yeah,
and and the thing is, she can't really do the full potential of what she, saying, of her powers. Her powers been nullified. She was like, "What do you need me for?" And she was like, "Girl, I'm going down to Witch's Road." And she's like, "What?" She says, "Girl, ain't no such thing." She was like, "Come on now. I've been down to Witch's Road. I'm back. I know it's dangerous. Let's go." Because the boy won't even go. Agatha kind of had a little sympathy. The boy was like, "Look here, I ain't got time for no kids to come here on this thing. You're going to die." And he like, "Man, I'm 16. By the way, in the process of talking with this kid, she asks him that he is known as the teenager. She says, "Hey, what's your name?" And every time he tried to say his name, you saw like a sewing lock spell go across his mouth,
yeah,
and you couldn't
yeah,
hear nothing. And like she couldn't hear him. She was like, "What's your name?" And she couldn't. She was like, "Huh." And then even when they got back in the car, she was like, "So where you from, kid?" And she said, "Where you from?" And he starts to talk, and his voice gets kind of muted, like low and muffled. And she's like, "What?" And she even turned the volume up on the radio in the car, thinking that was going to help, and nothing. So there's something more that meets the eye with this kid. I have a theory who I think this kid might actually end up being, but what I'm saying, we'll get to that later on. I'm gonna wait and see. I'm gonna wait and see. I'm gonna wait and see a little bit
yo.
more.
When Agatha came in the shop, she
Mm-hmm.
said, anybody got any marbles? My pelvic floor is
For the green egg, right?
yo.
What she said, y'all want to share?
He
You
said
know,
she said the traveling what she say? She said the sisterhood of the traveling
traveling
Kegels.
Kegels. Yeah, the sisterhood of
I was
traveling
like,
Kegels.
yo, that is
I,
wild.
I said, this is what we do at Disney. Disney. Disney, hey yo, Disney's like, hey yo, we did Deadpool. Hey, you might as well
She
just go
said
ahead
my
and
pelvic floor is
it's
all
all
over the
over the
place. I was
place.
like, oh my God, yo. Oh
Y'all,
man.
don't y'all don't
This
get the joke. Look up yoni eggs or something, whatever.
it's funny. It's
It's
so
funny.
funny. Like, yo, like it's also everybody that she recruits, even like the Asian lady next.
Mm-hmm.
Forgot her name, but everybody is essentially like a failed witch.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a whole coven. It's like a coven of misfits.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's trying to, got to collectively come together to regain their former glory. Because they go to the mall.
Alice Wu Gulliver.
Yeah, get
Uh,
her fired from the
yeah,
store.
yeah, got her
Got
fired.
her
Just
fired, and then she's walking away like, "Hey, you got free time now. You might as well
yeah,
come through." And like, and the whole time she's looking back like, "Man, I don't want nothing to do with you." Still didn't say like why in particular. She
yeah.
was being real cagey about that, but that was
Uh-huh.
like, it's like,
And each witch had a
yeah,
power that they needed for this. So you had Patty LaPone's character, who was like the psychic clairvoyant. They needed her for that, for her power. They needed Jennifer because she was a potions master. And
yeah,
then they needed Alice Wu because she's a protector witch.
right,
Or whatever. And then what happened? So like the teenager's like, hey, there's one more name on the list, and she's like, yeah, we don't need that person. She's like, I don't know, the name is here on the list. Like, yeah, whatever, we don't need this person. And so they it comes nighttime. They're at Agatha's house, and all the witches show up reluctantly, and they're like, all right, how we gotta do this? And so the boy, he's so stupid. He's like, all right, so we got this car. I don't think it's big enough to take us all. So how are we gonna get to the witches? They was like, you idiot, you summons the witches road. So it's a song rhyme they got to do, and they're like, hey, where's the fourth person? Like, and where's the fifth person? And she's like, we don't need it. They said, no, we need a green witch. And she's like, fine. And she goes outside and she goes to Mrs. Hart that, said we saw in WandaVision. And Mrs. Hart is like, what's going on? Has no idea. Apparently, I believe somewhere down the line, Wanda put a hex on this daggone witch lady to wipe her memory. She doesn't even know she's a witch. And I think she's like a harvesting type witch. And they take her down and they say, in order to do it, they gotta summon this song. She tells the boy, hey, stay your ass upstairs. We're gonna be down here in the basement doing this. By the way, we also bring another cameo from WandaVision. Mr. Scratch, the bunny, is
Yeah,
back.
yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah,
Mr.
yeah,
Scratch, the
yeah.
bunny, is back. So they're downstairs singing the Witch's Road song cantation, and the boy's upstairs, and he looks outside, and then there's like a hooded figure in the little cul-de-sac. And then once again, our guy John does the blackest thing ever. He looks and says, he just says one thing. Yo, what's this? No, he just turns around and
Back in
pieces
the house.
it went back in the house. So the teenager sees this and sees that next thing you know, 7 of them show up, and you like, oh snap, that's the 7, and they are just gracefully glide stepping
Tony,
towards the house. Go
I was
ahead.
like, yo, we got witch ninjas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. Witch ninjas. And he is like trying to fortify because they don't have a front door because Agatha's front door is gone because from the fight she had with Rio. And so she's trying her best. He's trying his best to fortify, you know what I'm saying, the house,
Yeah.
upstairs. They're down there doing the cantation. And in the process, the witches, the 7 start attacking, and he's like hold them off a little bit, and they do the cantation, but the witch's road doesn't show up, and they all start arguing with each other, and then Agatha tries to gaslight them. You're a failed witch. You can't do this. You are a has been. You never was, and you is, and like you see them sparking up like they want to hit her with a blast, and she's like, yeah, come on. They was like, no, we know what you trying to do. You trying to get us to attack you. So and she was like, you bitches, why don't you just go ahead and do it?
Yeah, yeah.
And then,
Lily was like, yo, don't even hit her with nothing, yo. She's trying to power up out here. We know what you're doing.
And she's getting mad at it. And then finally someone says, hey, what is this? What is the Mrs. Hart was like, yo, what's this? Right here. And they look down and it's like, oh, this won't here before. It's the actual way to get to the witch's road. And so by this time they open it up and they looking like, we gonna do this or that? Mm-hmm. My man came hauling ass down that bay. Hey, yo, we need to go. He just jumped and hauled tail down there. And then you hear the warrior witch. She says, she says, yeah, I'm not trying to mess with what's going on up there. Let's go. So they all go down and they close the door. And Agatha can hear like banging. Then she looks up again and the door is gone. It's just ground. And they get down to the steps. They on the witch's road. I guess they all take off their shoes. And now we get our Wizard of Oz scene, follow the witch's road or follow the yellow brick road. They start going. And that is the end of the first 2 episodes of WandaVision.
Solid 2 episodes, man. Like I know some people may push back a little bit, but for me, like it really set the tone for what the show is going to be. Mm-hmm. Even the singing, which I don't care for, but mm-hmm. you got Patti LuPone, who is a Broadway actress anyway, and Catherine Hahn can sing.
Let's call it. Have some singing. Patti LuPone's a legend, yo.
You're gonna have some singing, so you're not gonna have the people with all that talent just to waste it. So, mm-hmm. But nah, yo, I really liked it. It was way again like it really harnessed what was really working with WandaVision.
The spirit of WandaVision,
and a lot of the humor and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like it was really funny and like it just a well did pilot and second episode. You know what I'm saying?
So, quick question before we go in. Who are some cameos that you think we could possibly see here in the MCU?
That is a good question. Like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like we should see Wanda, but like, I doubt they're gonna show her.
I think we're gonna get Doctor Strange because he was supposed to be.
Because he was like, he was supposed to be in the original series.
WandaVision, but
that's why he had the commercials. That was him talking to Wanda, so that was we could get Strange, or we could get like we could get Wong. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
you know, or anybody in
Um,
Kermitage.
America.
We could get America. Shoot, we even could get seeing how they spare his life and didn't kill him. And what you call it, we could get Baron Mordo, he could pop up. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So almost anybody has any inkling
Mm-hmm.
to magic that
Mysticism.
we've
Mm-hmm.
seen, like we could definitely see them. Even we can even see like somebody random too.
Yeah.
Like shoot, we can even see like Bruce Banner
Yeah.
or somebody random like that. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure we're going to see White Vision since
We better see White Vision somewhere, or
because
see or see some sort of like flashback of regular Vision.
we ain't seen White Visions in 4 years now.
And they're gonna have to connect this to whatever the new
The
Vision
Vision.
show is gonna be.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
nah, solid entry.
Cool. Yeah. And same thing for me. I appreciate it too. So we'll see what happens. I don't know how many episodes. This is 6 episodes.
It's nine.
9. Okay.
Nine
Well,
episodes. There's a 2 episode finale on October 30th.
of course, right before Halloween.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, man. That's good. That's what we got for this one. Definitely stay tuned to the channel, man. Like it's that season, you know. Next we got episode 5 of Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power on Amazon Prime. And then tomorrow, 7 p.m., we have the premiere of The Penguin on HBO Max. You know what I'm saying?
I have seen and heard nothing but great things from this.
Yeah,
show.
me too. And I've been trying to stay very quiet and low key, but yeah,
Yes.
everybody's saying that like it's solid. So we'll be the I'll be the judge of that tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Me tomorrow.
All good. All good, man. But yeah, till the next time.